So, agenda today PD, and today we are going to be focusing on the listening, the power of listening. The reason we are having this lecture today is because in schools, in classrooms, in colleges, largely in schools, all the attention has been given to reading, learning to read and learning to write, but nobody really gives attention to the listening skill of an average human being. Okay, as long as you can hear a sound like the sound of a clap, it is considered that you are a good listener. But no, listening is a skill which must be developed. Okay, कान पे आवाज गिरना ही listening नहीं होता. Okay, it has to have certain intelligible and intelligent involvements. So we'll discuss this. Before we go into this, do you know this guy, Ernest Hemingway? Anyone aware of Ernest Hemingway? Nobody is aware of Ernest Hemingway. In 1950s, he was a very popular writer, novelist rather. He used to write a lot about World War II. No clue? No. Okay. Anyway, so he said, I like to listen. I've learned a great deal from listening carefully, and most people never listen. He wrote a very good novel. I forgot the name of it, but I remember the gist from that novel. He interviewed a World War II survivor soldier, and then he wrote how he felt, the conditions that he went through, and how he was able to survive near-death experiences. And that novel was amazing. Right, so I have given you a brief on why listening is an important skill. Now we will see the drasticity of this, and then we'll find solutions to improving our listening skill. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So, basic introduction. The idea of listening is an important subject by itself, because good listening allows you to demonstrate that you are paying attention to the thoughts, the feelings, and the behaviors of the person. Seeing the world through their eyes is what is real listening. This is crucial to maintaining productive relationships, and sometimes it's the only way to establish communication, right? By listening. So what exactly is listening? Listening is your ability to accurately receive and interpret messages in the communication process. That means, like I said, कान पे आवाज पढ़ना ही listening नहीं है. That's hearing. Okay, listening means listening, getting the information, and then interpreting it, trying to figure out the real meaning out of it. Okay, listening is key to all effective communication, and without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily misunderstood. So an active process of getting information and ideas. In a single line, you can say listening is the process of receiving, constructing meaning from, and responding to the speakers. Fair? More on this would be, listening is not just about being quiet while somebody else is speaking. Listening is with the mind as well, ears as well as mind. Only hearing is with the senses. Hearing ability is a sense, right? Like being able to see is a sense. We have multiple senses. One of them is your ability to hear. But listening involves mind. Listening involves consciousness. It helps you to improve your interpersonal and oral exchange. If you understand somebody fully after listening to them carefully, consciously and mindfully, only then you can respond in the best way possible. That's why it improves your interpersonal and oral exchange. Just listening to words is not enough. A good listener has to pay attention to the non-verbal communication of the speaker as well. Non-verbal communication involves tone of voice, intonation, stress on words, right? Stress on syllables. So what exactly they mean by it? Do you get me? Now the problem, as I said at the beginning, it's very vast and it's very drastic. These two researches will prove my point. First research by University of Minnesota. Now it's a big detail. I'll just give you all the key information, right? For several years, thousands of people, including students, businessmen, professionals, they were tested for their listening ability. That means some speaker came and delivered a lecture of about an hour for them. Alright, the results showed, as you see here, an average person has listened to somebody talk, and immediately after listening to them, half of them forgot the information. Half of the information was forgotten. It happens with average human being, right? So let's say a speech by a speaker was delivered over a subject matter for 60 minutes. They forgot almost 30%, 30 minutes of the content. That means 50% of it. Alright, that is an average human problem. Such a big problem, right? Adding to this problem was proven by this research by Florida State University, Michigan State University. Alright, so what they found out was, after conducting similar researches, that after 2 months, an average listener would only remember about 25% of what was said. So 50% immediately people would forget, and another 25% of it after 2 months. So do you get me? 2 months later, 60 minutes long lecture, you would barely remember 15 minutes of it. You would barely remember, in other words, 25% of it. So that's very problematic. The problem is huge, isn't it? And schools, classroom setups, they don't really give a damn about it. But we will. So as I have been saying and blaming classroom setup, that has caused the gap in learning. See, behind this widespread inability to listening lies, in our opinion, a major oversight of our system of classroom instruction, right? We have focused largely on reading and writing, but not on listening. Okay, listening training was never really involved. At best, we were given some admonitions. Admonition means dandapat, like pay attention, now get this, open your eyes, open your ears and listen carefully. Alright, at best this was said, but true listening training was never really provided. And that's why we are discussing this lecture. We have faced with several false accusations which have caused blocks in the teaching of listening. On an average, in our classrooms, it was assumed that only intelligent people listen good and unintelligent people listen bad. But this is only partially true. An intelligent person with not enough training of listening skill would also listen bad. And a not so intelligent person, let's say average minded person, although it would have an impact on his or her understanding, but an average minded person with good training and listening skill would listen better also. So this statement, although it has been assumed widely, largely, but is only partially true. Okay, lack of training has an impact on your listening skill. But we won't be faced with it, because here are some simple strategies that we can employ to improve upon our listening skill. I will deliver this lecture, and at the end we'll have some practice also. Actually, I'll question you. First one, you need to limit your own talking. You can't talk and listen at the same time. If you are thinking about what you're going to say next, then you're not listening. Good communication is said to be 99% of listening and 1% talking. By talking here, what I mean is not just literal talking verbally also, talking in non-verbally also, in your mind as well. Alright, if you're listening to somebody, but you have something running here, you won't be able to listen well. Secondly, listening to hear. Sometimes people just listen so that they can respond. They can give a rebuttal. Yeah, like in an argument between husband and wife. Or in political arena. You might have seen debates on news channels. They don't listen to listen, they listen to rebut. That is also a bad form of listening. And I've just given 2 examples. It happens at many places, at many locations. Bad way to listen. Overcome this. Think like the person who is speaking. His or her problems and needs are important. You will understand and retain them better if you strive to understand his or her point of view as well. Like, put yourself in that situation and then think what you would and how you would perceive a certain situation. Are you with me? Try to think like them as well, so you will understand better. And then ask clarification questions. In case you do not understand something, feel free to ask clarification questions. That will help you improving your understanding. Moving on. Do not interrupt or change the subject. This happens very often, especially during heated arguments. When one of the party is about to lose the argument, right, they change the subject. Moving on. Concentrate on what you are hearing. Now, when they say concentrate, it means, of course, do not talk, do not interrupt, but at the same time, be fully focused also. Many a times it happens, even right now it might be happening. While you are sitting here, while you are listening to this lecture, some unwanted thoughts might be invading your mind. Those invasive thoughts reduce your ability to listen. Okay, so try to overcome those invasive thoughts. For me, overcoming this, has also been a challenge, like it has been for everybody. Sometimes what happens is, even to me, a song at the back of the head keeps running. Yeah, I listened to that song Sayyara and it kept running for weeks. Sayyara, Sayyara. Even if I was performing, some session here, some speech, if I was conducting some GD, Sayyara, Sayyara in the background used to run. So interim meditations have helped me. Maybe you can try this as well. Not those meditations that you do early morning or late evening. Interim meditation, short interval meditation, 3 to 5 minutes, sort of a break after a session. and I would just close my eyes, sit down, relax, take deep breaths, and try to focus only on my breath. And I used to realize that they helped me, if not fully, at least reduce the number of invasive thoughts and bring back my focus. So that has been helpful. Maybe you can try this yourself. And turn off your own worries. If you have some preconceived notions, some preconceived worries, something that is worrying you, running in your mind, you won't be able to focus and listen carefully. So try to overcome your worries. Again, meditation might help you. Moving on, consider taking notes. Notes can help you. Alright, but overtaking notes can also cause you to miss out on the information that is being discussed, because on an average, the information that is discussed, note taking is lower. Okay, so consider taking notes, but mindfully, do not overdo them. Listen for ideas and not just words. So sometimes what happens is we listen to an information just for the word of it. But many a times people give metaphorical examples. Do you understand metaphors? Metaphor means you say something by taking a relative example so that you can relate one thing to another and make comprehension easy for the other person, for the listeners. Or you can strengthen your argument. Do you get me? No. Okay. So let's say you are challenging somebody and saying that you're a hypocrite. Okay, and in order to prove your point, you take a metaphorical example. Like you reject cake because it has sugar, but whenever you see a rasgulla, you gulp it down. Are you getting me? That's a metaphorical example to prove the point that you're a hypocrite. Cake also has sugar, rasgulla also has sugar. But there are some people, yeah, when you give relative examples, right? Fair. And then imagine the responder responds, well, I have been having rasgulla since my childhood and I just can't overcome having it. But that's not what I meant when I spoke that statement. Do you get me? What I meant was the individual was hypocrite. The response that I got was on the metaphorical example that I gave. Do you get me? Listen for the wholesome ideas and not just the words. Alright, the real meaning behind those words. Moving on. Use interjections to punctuate your listening. Like an occasional yes or I see will help the speaker understand that you're on the same page. You're following the info. Right? Interjections here means sounds that we make to express different emotions. Like yes means yeah, I'm on the same page. I see means here that I have understood. Oh, I'm surprised. Hooray, I'm excited, I'm happy. Are you with me?
We can nod our head.
Or simply nodding. That's a non-verbal interjection. Right? Alright. Prepare in advance. If you already know what subject is going to be discussed, let's say you have a physics class and let's say for the sake of explanation, cosmology is going to be discussed. Alright. So maybe you can prepare your questionnaire in advance, the kind of question that might help you. Alright. There may be some real-time confusions and real-time questions as well, but preparing in advance always helps. And then respond to ideas, not the person. Do not let your personal bias against a person because of his race, caste, creed, gender, affect your listening. Okay? Always response to the ideas. If you have some previous history with some person, good or bad, your discretion. But then do not let whatever history you have with an individual or whatever feeling you have towards an individual get into your understanding and at the same time response to the ideas that are being discussed. Right? Do not argue mentally. I've told you already. Sometimes people, give mental rebuttals. Bad idea. Don't jump to the conclusions. Do not half listen and then come directly to the conclusion. Let the speaker speak. Let the speaker finish their argument. Okay. And finally, practice silence, which means silent here, but silent here also. Again, meditation will help you. Right? If you devise these strategies or at least some of it, it will help you dramatically improve your listening ability and listening power. These are some listening games. We won't be playing them. I have something else in mind after the session. Alright, so we'll skip this. Now here are different types of listenings. Under different circumstances, you might have to employ different types of listenings. Okay, let's learn about them one by one. First of all, what are they? Informational listening. And then discriminative listening. Third, biased listening. Fourth, sympathetic listening. Fifth, empathetic listening or therapeutic listening. And finally, critical listening. Can somebody differentiate between sympathetic and empathetic? What is the difference between sympathetic and empathetic listening?
Sympathy means to make him feel that we are on the same boat, or I have some sympathy for him.
Yeah. Sympathetic means to feel the pain of another person. Alright.
Like,
Empathetic means putting yourself in their shoes also.
like politicians do. Whenever someone dies, any soldier or something, they go to their home.
Yeah. That's sympathy. Right. And empathy would be they actually feel how they are feeling. Right. If they shed some tears as well. And if they are real, that would be empathy. Do you get me? In detail, we shall understand as we move further.
Sir, are discriminating listening?
Yeah, one by one. Here are the details. We are discussing all the details. I just wanted to give you a brief. Now I'll come into details. First one, informational listening. When you want to learn something, you will need to use informational listening to understand and retain information. Alright. What does it mean? It usually requires a high level of concentration to perform this type of listening. Okay. That's because you need to highly engage yourself and your mental resources to understand a new concept, such as this. Alright, this classroom setup. Take a look at this picture. Whatever is being discussed on this presentation requires all these people as well as you to employ informational listening. You also need to apply critical thinking to what you are learning. This is so you can understand what you are learning within the context of relevant information. Examples I have already given you, like work training, self-paced learning at home or at work. Yeah, like YouTube videos. Okay, listening to an educational ebook or audiobook. Alright, or coaching. What's happening here? Right, these are some of the examples. Next is discriminative listening. Discriminative listening is actually the first type of listening that you are born with. It is completely innate. You don't have to develop this skill. You already know the skill. A perfect example of this would be of a baby. Alright, this type of listening, first of all, instead of relying on words, you rely on tone of voice, verbal cues, and other changes in sound. What do I mean? I'll give an example. You will get the point here. Let's say there is a baby in front of me. Okay. And let's say I say, "You're such an ugly baby," but with a smile and happy tone. The baby would smile back. The baby would feel happy about it. Do you get me? Try this with a 1-day-old baby and you would see.
Because their tone is like that.
Because they don't understand the language. But they would always catch the tone of voice. Right? That's why when you...
The one-way communication.
Yeah. This is also called discriminative listening. This is actually two-way communication. Non-verbal part of it at least. You know, you smile, the baby smiles back. You use happy tone, the baby laughs. Alright? Alright. By contrast, if you say, "You're such a cute baby, you're such a beautiful baby, you're such a handsome baby," but with angry tone, the baby will cry. The baby won't love the compliment. The baby will not even be able to understand the compliment. The baby will just notice your tone of voice and respond to it negatively. Are you with me? This is called discriminative listening. I guess this example clarifies it. Totally?
Yes.
Moving on.
Discriminative means what? Meaning of discriminative?
I gave you the definition as well as example.
Like the word of
I'm talking about the word.
Literal meaning.
Discriminative means
Yeah, literal meaning is discrimination, but here that's not what it means. Here, as per the definition of it, it means, you know, that you don't rely on words, you rely on the non-verbal part of the communication, which involves tone of voice, which involves, you know, other changes in sounds, such as rhythm,
that is only possible
such as pitch,
when we don't understand the
such as, the tone, right? Such as voice also, deep voice, hoarse voice, right? All of them collectively. Moving on.
watching English movies. Watching English movies.
Can help you improve your discriminative listening.
While watching English movies, lots of things we don't understand.
Okay. Yeah.
Just guess by tone or
Sometimes, yeah, we guess by tone of voice. Yeah. Chit chat later, we have recording going on here. Thank you. Session चल रहा है ना? है ना? Focus है ना? All right. I'll have to edit that part also. Anyway, moving on. biased form of listening. The name itself suggests that means selective listening, right? A prime example of this would be the example of Rahul Gandhi. Yeah. So Rahul Gandhi delivered this speech in which he used one sentence, "Alu dalo, sona niklega." All right. Now, if you listen to the entire speech, you would realize that he was referencing previously said words in a speech of Modi ji. All right. But the IT cell, I won't name the party, but the IT cell picked up that line, spent 10,000 crore rupees and turned Rahul Gandhi into a pappu. And now Rahul Gandhi is a pappu. This is so deeply rooted in the hearts of Indians, the damage is almost irreversible. Do you get me? But that is selective form of listening. It was a doctored video. Yeah. Another example of this would be the recent controversy that happened, not so recent, many months ago, that happened with Dr. Vikas Divyakirti. Anybody aware of it? Alright. Anybody aware of Dr. Vikas Divyakirti?
Yes.
You don't know Dr. Vikas Divyakirti? Very popular IAS office, IAS coach. Seriously. Anyway, so go to Karol Bagh and you will see Karol Bagh metro station is also known as Drishti IAS metro station. Okay, he spent crores building that brand and you have no clue. Come on. Anyway, so he also fell into controversy because of biased listening or selective listening. In one of his lectures, he was referencing a book which had derogatory statements about goddess Sita. Alright, so what exactly those derogatory words were, he was referencing them. And maybe his competitors, they doctored only that part of it and made that particular part of it only viral. And he received large scale criticism because people thought that he made derogatory statements. But if you listen to that full lecture, you would realize he was talking about a book, and he also, before making that statement, apologized and said, "This is not my opinion. I apologize for the next words that I'm going to say in advance. And these are those words." Are you with me? I'm not going to say those words because what if somebody doctors my video? Moving on. Sympathetic listening. As we have briefly discussed, let's discuss it a little more. Sympathetic listening is delivered by emotion. Instead of focusing on the message spoken through words, listener focuses on the feelings and the emotions of the speaker. This is done to process these feelings and emotions. By using sympathetic listening, you can provide support to the speaker's needs. Got it? You can understand how they are feeling, but not what they say they are feeling. Do you get me? That is the difference between sympathetic and empathetic. But when you can understand what they say they are feeling, it transforms into empathetic listening, which is the next point. Empathetic listening is also referred to as therapeutic listenings because psychologists employ this, right? They listen to everything you say, they do not judge you, and then they cross-question, cross-examine to find out the root causes of the mental health problem you are facing, right? They really empathize. They put yourself in that situation and then try to feel what you actually felt and then try to give you solutions via various psychotherapies. Are you with me? All right. Moving on, critical listening. The name itself suggests if you need to analyze complex information, you will need to use critical listening. Using critical thinking while listening goes deeper than comprehensive listening. Instead of taking the information at face value, you can use critical listening to evaluate what's being said. So let's say some data is being discussed, right? And you want to find trends in them. You want to find key information, some bulls, some bears in them. Then you will have to employ critical listening as well as critical thinking and critical analysis. Say in data analysis, in data mining, right? Moving on. Now, learn all these types of listening to improve your life as well as your work. By being a good listener, you can become a better communicator, avoid misunderstandings, and learn new information more easily. And we have discussed 6 different types of listenings. Under different circumstances, if you apply them mindfully, you can get the best results out of the information that you have listened to. Are you with me? This lecture ends here. Thank you for listening.